In old age, silently cut off 5 types of people. Aging is a gift, a privilege denied to many. It's a time to embrace wisdom, cherish genuine relationships, and protect your peace. As we enter our golden years, we must be mindful of who we allow into our lives. Some people uplift us, while others drain our energy. The truth is, at this stage of life, you don't owe anyone your time if they bring negativity, stress, or emotional burden. Here are 5 types of people you should silently distance yourself from to ensure your later years are filled with joy, peace, and meaningful connections. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. Those who constantly complain but never change. Negativity is like a shadow. It follows those who refuse to step into the light. There is a kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from physical labor but from emotional weight, the kind that seeps into your spirit, making your days feel heavier than they should. And often, that weight doesn't come from your own burdens, but from the people who pour their endless complaints into your ears, expecting you to carry them too. We all have difficult days. Life has never been simple, and as we age, we understand that hardship is an inevitable part of the journey. There is nothing wrong with sharing struggles. After all, speaking about our challenges can be healing, but there are some who do not seek healing. They seek to relive their pain over and over, as if repeating their grievances will somehow rewrite the past. These are the people who refuse to change yet expect the world to change for them. They speak of their misfortunes as if they are cursed by life itself, never realizing that they hold the key to their own peace. At this stage in life, you must ask yourself, how much energy am I willing to spend on things I cannot change? Because here's the truth, not every burden is yours to carry. You have already endured decades of life's trials. You have faced loss, disappointment, and heartache, and yet you have also found joy, resilience, and wisdom. You have learned that life is not just about surviving hardship, but about rising above it. You have seen how quickly time moves, and you know deep in your soul that the years ahead are far too precious to be wasted on voices that only bring despair. So why allow someone to pull you back into the same cycle of negativity? People who constantly complain but never change are not looking for solutions. They are looking for someone to validate their misery. They are the ones who talk about all the things they can't do, all the ways they've been wronged, all the reasons life has been unfair. But ask them what steps they've taken to improve their situation, and they will have none. Ask them what they are grateful for, and they will struggle to answer. They see only what has gone wrong, never what is still good. And the more time you spend listening to them, the more you will find their energy creeping into your own heart. It happens quietly at first. A small complaint here, a sigh there. You may not even notice the shift, but over time, their words begin to reshape the way you see the world. Instead of waking up and feeling thankful for another day, you start to focus on the aches in your body, the disappointments of yesterday, the uncertainty of tomorrow. You find yourself less patient, less joyful, less lighthearted, and before you know it, their negativity has become yours. But here's something important. You are not obligated to carry the weight of someone else's refusal to heal. That does not mean you must be unkind. It does not mean you should abandon people who truly need help. But it does mean that you must learn to recognize when a conversation is leading nowhere, when the same complaints are being repeated without any intention of change, and when your presence is being used not for comfort, but for fueling an endless cycle of dissatisfaction. So, what can you do? First, protect your energy by shifting conversations. The next time someone begins their usual pattern of complaints, gently redirect them. I hear what you're saying, but what's something good that happened today? I know this has been bothering you. But have you thought of any ways to improve it? I understand that this is frustrating. Let's talk about something that makes us happy instead. If they resist, if they insist on dwelling in the same complaints without any effort to change, then it is a sign. A sign that this is not a conversation that will nourish your spirit. A sign that you must begin stepping back. You don't have to make a grand declaration or cut ties dramatically. You simply allow space to grow between you. You respond less. You engage less. You prioritize people who bring warmth, wisdom, and perspective into your life rather than those who drain it. Because life is far too short to spend your golden years listening to echoes of old complaints. Instead, spend them in laughter, in lighthearted conversation, in quiet moments of gratitude. Surround yourself with people who remind you of life's beauty, who share stories of hope, who appreciate each day for the gift that it is. You deserve peace. You deserve joy. And sometimes that means learning to let go, silently but firmly, of those who refuse to embrace either. 2. Those who only show up when they need something. True relationships are not built on convenience, but on mutual care and respect. There is a unique kind of loneliness that does not come from being alone, but from realizing that the people you once cared for only see you as a means to an end. You may not recognize it at first. The calls and visits seem warm, the conversations pleasant, until you notice a pattern. They only reach out when they need something. They want advice, a favor, financial help, or simply someone to listen when their lives feel heavy. And when their needs are met, they disappear, leaving you wondering whether the connection was ever real in the first place. At this stage in life, you must ask yourself, am I being valued for who I am or only for what I can offer? Because there is a painful truth in aging. Many people, even those we once held close, begin to see us differently. To some, we become less of a person and more of a resource. They see our wisdom, but only when it benefits them. They remember our generosity, but only when they need something. They take and take and take, without ever stopping to ask, how are you? What do you need? And the saddest part, many of us allow it not because we don't see it happening, but because we hold on to the memory of who these people once were to us. We remember them as the children we raised, the friends we once laughed with, the family we always supported. We tell ourselves that maybe this time they will stay a little longer, that maybe this time they truly care. But deep down, we know if there were nothing left to give, they would not be here. So what do? How do you protect your heart without closing it entirely? First, recognize your own worth. You are not just a provider of advice, money, or emotional support. You are a person with needs, desires, and a right to meaningful relationships. Real love does not keep score, but it also does not take without giving in return. If someone only calls when they need something, take note. If they disappear when you are the one in need, take note. And if every interaction leaves you feeling used rather than valued, take note. Then, set boundaries. This does not mean shutting people out, but it does mean being selective about how and when you give your time and energy. When someone reaches out only in need, ask yourself, am I giving because I want to or because I feel obligated? If it's the latter, it's time to step back. You do not have to answer every call. You do not have to say yes to every request. You do not have to be the one who always gives while receiving nothing in return. Instead, start focusing on relationships that are built on genuine care. Notice the people who check in just to see how you are, who listen without expecting anything in return, who make you feel loved simply because you exist, not because you can do something for them. And if that means that some people fade away, let them. Because the people who only show up when they need something were never truly there in the first place. And you, in the years you have left, deserve relationships that are real. Relationships that uplift, nurture, and remind you of the love that still exists in the world, not ones that drain you, leaving you emptier each time. Choose to surround yourself with those who give as much as they take, who see you, appreciate you, and value you, not just for what you can offer, but for who you are. That is the kind of connection that makes life's later years worth cherishing. 3. Those who bring up the past just to hurt you. Your past is a chapter, not a prison. Do not let anyone chain you to what you have already outgrown. Time has a way of reshaping our understanding of the past. Some memories soften, their edges smoothed by forgiveness or wisdom. Others remain sharp, cutting into us when we least expect it. And then there are people who refuse to let us move forward, who dig up old wounds not to heal them, but to reopen them. These are the ones who remind you of your mistakes, your missteps, your most painful moments. They speak as if you are still the person you were back then, as if the years of growth, learning, and redemption do not count. They do not bring up the past with kindness or nostalgia, but with the intent to wound, to keep you tied to regret, to hold power over you by reminding you of the moments you wish you could rewrite. But here's the truth. You are not who you were 10, 20, or 50 years ago. You have lived, learned, and evolved. The person standing here today has been shaped by experience, but not defined by it. No one has the right to hold your past against you, especially when you have already made peace with it. At this stage in life, ask yourself, do I owe anyone an explanation for who I have become? The answer is no. You do not have to justify your growth. You do not have to defend yourself against people who choose to see only the mistakes and not the lessons. If someone insists on bringing up painful memories just to shame you, control you, or make you feel small, they are not someone you need in your life. This does not mean that all discussions of the past are harmful. Some are filled with warmth, shared laughter, and gentle reflections that remind us how far we have come. But if a person's words leave you feeling trapped in a version of yourself that no longer exists, then it is time to step away. So, what can you do? First, stop engaging. You do not have to defend yourself, explain yourself, or argue about things that no longer matter. A simple, firm response is enough. I have moved on from that, and I would appreciate it if you did too. That is the past. I am focused on the present. I choose not to relive that part of my life. Let's talk about something else. If they continue, recognize that their words say more about them than about you. Some people cling to the past because they fear change. Others use it as a weapon because they feel powerless in the present. Whatever their reason, it is not your burden to carry. Instead, surround yourself with those who see you for who you are now. People who celebrate your wisdom, your resilience, and the life you have built. People who recognize that you are not your mistakes, but the lessons you have learned from them. You are allowed to move forward. You are allowed to leave behind the voices that try to pull you backward, because your life is too precious to be spent explaining who you were when you should be embracing who you have become. 4. Those who disregard your worth and contributions. You have spent a lifetime giving, building, and shaping the world around you. Do not let anyone make you feel invisible now. Aging is often accompanied by an unsettling shift in how the world perceives you. In youth, your words carried weight. Your efforts were recognized. Your presence was valued. But as the years pass, Some people, sometimes even those closest to you, begin to act as if your voice matters less, as if your experiences no longer hold relevance, as if you have somehow faded into the background of life. This is one of the most painful truths of growing older, not because you seek validation, but because you know, deep in your heart, that your life has been full of meaning. You have lived through decades of change, hardship, and triumphs. You have worked, raised families, supported communities, and carried wisdom that can only come from time itself. Yet, there are those who fail to see the depth of what you have to offer. They interrupt you mid-sentence, dismiss your opinions as old-fashioned, or speak over you as if your thoughts no longer carry significance. They act as if your value is tied only to your youth, your ability to work, or what you can still physically do, ignoring the immeasurable impact of your wisdom, guidance, and presence. And so the question becomes, how do you respond? How do you reclaim your place in a world that too often overlooks its elders? First, recognize your own worth. You are not defined by others' perceptions of you. Whether or not someone acknowledges your contributions, they remain real, powerful, and deeply meaningful. The generations that follow have built their lives on the foundation you helped lay. That is something no one can take away. Then stop giving energy to those who fail to see you. You do not need to argue, prove yourself, or seek validation from those who have already chosen to dismiss you. Instead, pour your time and presence into those who appreciate you, people who listen, who respect, who cherish your presence, not for what you can do, but simply for who you are. This may mean spending less time with those who belittle or overlook you and more time in spaces where your voice is honored. Join groups, clubs, or organizations where experience is celebrated. Surround yourself with friends who see you, truly see you, and engage in conversations that enrich your soul rather than diminish it. And most importantly, never stop sharing your wisdom. The world may not always ask for it, but that does not mean it is not needed. Your stories, lessons, and insights carry a depth that younger generations can never find in books or the internet. Speak them anyway. Write them down. Share them with those who are willing to listen, because when the right people hear your words, they will carry them forward. You are not invisible. You are not irrelevant. You are a living testament to resilience, history, and wisdom. Do not waste another moment on those who fail to recognize that. Instead, spend the rest of your days with people who respect, admire, and appreciate all that you have been, all that you are, and all that you still have to give. 5. Those who never bring you joy. Life is too short to spend your golden years with people who bring nothing but emptiness. At this stage in life, every moment matters. Every sunrise is a gift, every conversation a thread in the tapestry of your remaining days. And yet, there are people who add nothing to that tapestry, people who do not make you smile, who do not uplift your spirit, who bring no warmth, no light, no joy. They are not necessarily cruel or unkind. They may even have been part of your life for decades. But when you are with them, there is no laughter, no inspiration, no sense of belonging, only a quiet emptiness, a lingering sense that something is missing. Perhaps they are emotionally distant, always distracted, always preoccupied. Perhaps they never ask how you're feeling, never take an interest in your life, never truly see you. Conversations with them feel obligatory rather than enriching, as if they are just going through the motions. Or perhaps they simply drain your spirit, offering nothing in return. And so you must ask yourself, what purpose do these relationships serve? Do they nourish my soul, or do they merely fill time? At this point in your life, companionship should not be about obligation. It should be about fulfillment. Your days should be spent with people who make you feel alive, who remind you of the joy in ordinary moments, who bring light into your life rather than shadow. If a relationship brings you nothing but dullness or disconnection, then it is not a relationship worth holding on to. But how do you let go? The answer is not always to sever ties completely. Sometimes it is simply about shifting your focus. Stop prioritizing people who do not bring you joy and start investing more deeply in those who do. Seek out friendships that make you laugh until your sides ache, that fill your heart with warmth, that remind you that life, no matter your age, is still meant to be lived. Surround yourself with those who share your passions, whether it's storytelling, gardening, music, or travel. Join groups, engage in activities that excite you, and make room in your life for relationships that bring genuine happiness. Sometimes that means rekindling old friendships that once made you feel alive. Other times, it means being open to new connections, even in the later years of life. But above all, choose joy. Because when you look back on your life, you will not remember the people who simply filled space. You will remember the ones who made you feel something, the ones who laughed with you, dreamed with you, and made your days a little brighter. Those are the people who deserve to walk beside you in this final, beautiful chapter of your life. Let go of the rest and embrace the joy that still awaits you. 6. Those who do not respect your boundaries. The right people will honor your limits. The wrong ones will test them. There comes a point in life when you realize that peace is not just something you find, it is something you protect. And one of the greatest lessons aging teaches us is that boundaries are not walls to keep people out, but gates to let the right ones in. Yet, there are those who do not respect these gates. People who push, who demand, who insist that their needs come before your comfort. They may not do it out of malice, but their actions leave you feeling depleted, disrespected, and unheard. Perhaps it is the family member who assumes that just because you have time, you should always be available. The friend who disregards your need for rest and solitude. The acquaintance who keeps pressuring you into commitments you no longer have the energy or desire to fulfill. Or the people who treat your no as if it were negotiable. But here's the truth. You have nothing left to prove. You have spent your life being responsible, accommodating, and dependable. You have shown up for others in more ways than they will ever know. Now, you must give yourself permission to show up for yourself. Ask yourself, how often do I say yes when I really want to say no? How many times have I agreed to something out of obligation rather than desire? At this stage, every moment is precious. Every choice you make should be in service of your well-being, your joy, and your peace. And that means setting firm, loving boundaries with those who fail to respect your time, your space, and your limits. So how do you do this? You start by being clear. You do not need long explanations, apologies, or justifications. A simple and confident response is enough. I appreciate you thinking of me, but I won't be able to do that. That doesn't work for me. I need time for myself, and I hope you can understand that. And if they push, if they try to guilt you, manipulate you, or make you feel as if your boundaries are unreasonable, then that is all the confirmation you need. They do not truly respect you, only what they can get from you. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the feeling that you must always be available, always accommodating, always giving. The people who genuinely love and respect you will honor your boundaries. They will not question them, test them, or make you feel guilty for setting them. And the ones who do, let them go, because the years ahead are yours to shape, and you deserve to spend them with people who bring you peace, not those who constantly take it away. Protect your peace. Embrace your freedom. There comes a time in life when you must decide, not out of bitterness, not out of resentment, but out of wisdom, who deserves a place in your world. Not everyone who has walked with you in the past is meant to journey with you into the future. Some relationships have run their course. Some people no longer align with the peace and joy you seek. And that is not a loss. It is simply life unfolding as it should. You have spent decades giving love, giving time, giving understanding. You have endured hardships, carried responsibilities, and sacrificed in ways that only your heart truly knows. But now, in this season of life, your greatest responsibility is to yourself, to your well-being, your happiness, your peace. Let go of those who drain you. Walk away from those who fail to see you. Release the weight of relationships that bring no joy, no warmth, no meaning. This is not selfishness. It is self-respect. And if you have learned anything in all these years, it is that time is far too precious to waste on anything less than what truly nourishes your soul. So, what should you do instead? Fill your days with light. Surround yourself with voices that lift you up, with people who cherish your presence, with conversations that make you laugh, reflect, and dream. Spend time doing what makes your heart feel alive, whether it's sharing stories, exploring new places, enjoying the quiet beauty of a sunrise, or simply sitting in the presence of those who make life feel rich and meaningful. You do not have to explain your choices. You do not owe anyone an apology for prioritizing your peace. The life you have left is yours to shape, and you deserve to fill it with love, purpose, and joy. Because in the end, it is not about how many people surround you, it is about the depth of the connections you keep. Choose those who bring warmth to your heart and let go of anything that dims your light. You have earned this peace. Now, it is time to embrace it fully. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.